This is the location where the first European settlement in the continental United States, at least of the post-Columbus expedition, was. So what you can see over here on the ground are little outlines. The circular stuff are things that would be considered Timucuan Indian, and everything that's rectangular is something that would be from the Spanish. This is where they first landed, and they lived here for about 9 or 10 months before the native people said, you guys need to get out of here. You're causing problems. We don't want to deal with you. People are dying. There's sickness. So at that point, then they went across this marshy area over there to Anastasia Island, and they lived there for a few years, I think about 7 years or so. Then they came back onto the land where the city is now. But if you look down here, you see little skeletal remains of buildings and things that they have found. They found little post hole marks that let them know that these things were built, and they found walls and things from the Spanish there. So it's really cool if you get a chance to come here. It's actually in the archaeological section of the Fountain of Youth park. Now, the Fountain of Youth is obviously like a little tourist thing, a little tourist trap. You get to drink the water and all of that. They give you that story, but there's a lot of good archaeology here, and they do a live gun demonstration, which is pretty cool. And it's really beautiful on the salt marshes. So if you ever get a chance to come up here and take a look from this vantage point, it's really good because you can see it. Now, there's a lot that we don't know about the Spanish in this area. There's a lot that we do know, and the things that we don't know are exactly what did their settlement look like, because they used a lot of tents. They were used to an army, a lot of canvas. So it wasn't like they have these remains. Now, one of the big buildings is basically what they call the Fuerza, the Casa Fuerza, or Fuerte. So it's the strong house. So that's where they basically kept all their stuff. They kept their munitions, they kept a lot of their supplies right there in that little, or in that rectangle next to the circle over there. And the rest of this stuff, you can kind of see the skeletal remains. And over there in the woods would have been where they had the original mission of Nombre de Dios, which is the Spanish Franciscan friars' mission that they used to convert the Timucuan people to Christianity. Now, the Timucuans did not live long. They of course got hit by disease, and after the Spanish had to flee a few times, the last ones died in the 1700s in Cuba. So when Pedro Menendez de Aviles landed here with the other Spanish in 1565, they would have found a village in this location called Seloy. These would have been the Timucuan Indians. Some people call it Saturiba, some people call it Seloy. It's the same kind of place. And this would have been the place that they found. Obviously, this keeps you out of the weather, but this is not going to keep you from French attacks, which, as we have learned, are on their way. And it was in ships like this chalupa right here, not the Taco Bell chalupa, but it was in these ships that the Spanish landed in Florida for the first time and changed world history. These ships held about 30 men or so. They could put a sail on there and catch the wind, or they could be rowed. And they could go up these little salt marshes, and then that's how they found all these little areas. They would be dragged behind one of the big ships, the caravels. When you see like big Spanish galleons and stuff, that's what they would have had, these behind them, kind of just dragging along like we would drag a dinghy today, or like a tugboat would pull something from the front. These would be dragged from the back.